And there's a couple things here. We're going to tie some things together because I think something bigger may be on the horizon for the Giants.
Okay. Because I want to get into this particular situation.
Well, this situation right here, Kapler got asked about pitch hitting for Meckler after not doing it on Monday night and defending Meckler and defending the situation, which I agree with. You want to develop these guys?
Yes.
Let them hit, whether it's Matos, Ramos, Bailey,
Luciano
Schmidt,
down the line.
Luciano, let these guys hit.
Agreed.
But you pitch hit for Meckler, which kills his confidence. So Kapler had a nice little back and forth with the reporter after the game about that situation. Here it is.
Earlier this series, we talked about why you stuck with Wade Meckler and with the bases loaded against a lefty. Bases loaded against a lefty tonight, you decided to pinch hit Slater for him. What changed, if anything, in that decision?
I'm absolutely happy to make the distinction, but I'm just curious if you know the distinction.
Is it just Slater versus Ramos?
Yeah, I mean, this is not a disrespect to Ramos in any way, but I think Ramos has like 4 career pinch hit at-bats. Slater's one of the best pinch hitters in baseball. So I don't mind, of course, explaining something, but I just sometimes wonder if the question is, hey, can you say it? Or if that distinction isn't clear. I'm just curious about that.
Slater hasn't been hitting awesome either. He has a more track record, sure, but...
Would you agree that he's one of the 5 best right-handed pinch hitters over the course of the last 3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
Do you think there's that creates a distinction between him and a guy that has 4 career pinch hit at-bats?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm not criticizing you at all. I'm just wondering if what you're asking is for me to say that, or if, like, whether or not there's a distinction at all for you.
It was a similar situation, so I think people would be interested to learn and hear you explain it.
Yeah, and so, I mean, again, Slater's one of the best pinch hitters in baseball, particularly against left-handed pitching over the course of the last 3 seasons. And so in that situation, we trust that he's going to go up there and have a good at-bat. He did, and he grounded into a double play. But I had him go up there because he's really, really good at that. Just has had a stretch where he hasn't had a lot of success.
So the little passive aggressiveness by Gabe Kapler there, I thought was unnecessary. Reporters just asking a question. You didn't have to get snippy with them. Reporter's doing his job. He's asking a question. Cap, just answer the question. You got your asses kicked. You lost 4 straight series. And I like Kapler. I do. But it's too much of that whenever he gets a little testy. And he talked about Ross Stripling getting it back, and Ross Stripling kind of laughed after the game, said, man, it would have been nice if he told me that before he went public first with my injury. And so Alex Wood Saturday night, not happy with his role. Yeah. Ross Stripling, we could all say, who the hell is Ross Stripling to complain about anything?
Which I would agree with.
How about you keep the ball in the ballpark? But you know what? You know what? I get that. And then you're getting tested with a poor reporter who ain't making nothing, who's making peanuts, just trying to do his damn job, and you want to go back and forth with him about a situation, which was appropriate. It was an appropriate question.
Did you think he tried to dunk on him, or what?
Yeah, he was trying to dunk on him, which was weird.
Okay.
Which was weird. Just answer the question. Well, just answer the question, Cap.
Well, here's the thing. He's doing, like, this is why I'm not really mad. I get what you're saying on, like, the being snippy. So that part, like...
Right. That's unnecessary.
Okay.
You got your asses kicked. You lost 4 straight series.
I've never been in those scrums. So I'm going to lean on how you feel is how I'm going to lean, because you have experience being there. Lubman said the same thing, right? And Lubman's in those scrums.
He's in those scrums.
I've never been in those scrums, so I'm going to lean in. Like, you have more knowledge on this than I do. Here's what my retort would have been to him. Dog, does form matter? The guy's won for his last 23. He's got 7 hits in his last, like, 60 or 70 at-bats.
Right.
Austin Slater. So, like, you could give me all the data in the world. Does the form not matter? If a guy is struggling, does that not matter? Like, this is the problem. And again, this is why I'm not, like, the decision. I'm going back to the decision. I'm not even mad at Kapler. This is the organizational philosophy, which I reject. I reject it. Okay?
Yep.
One of the great things, I was talking about this with Spadoni. When we talk about Will Clark, okay? Now, this is a glorified moment in time. He's starting, first ever game, opening day against Nolan Ryan.
Astrodome.
And he hits a home run. And right then and there, what did he do, Bonte? Early on in his career, he endeared himself to Giants fans.
Yep.
And then you lit the confidence fuse on a young player who was your number 2 overall pick that I'm sure he carried along with him for years. And look, you can say, Joe, he always had that confidence. He was always going to ball, blah, 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 blah. But had there been a guy on the bench who hit 10 percentage points higher versus righties than Will Clark, do we get that moment?
Don't know.
That's my point. So let's say in this particular scenario, you got a young guy in Wade Meckler. Part of the confidence building journey of a young player is giving them that opportunity in that moment to win himself over amongst his teammates, to build up his own confidence, to endear himself to Giants fans. Why are we robbing these kids of the moment? You pinch hit for Luciano in his debut. You pinch hit for Ramos in high leverage situations in the 7th and 8th inning. If you never give them an opportunity, how can they prove to you that they can deliver? How can they prove to you that they can go from being a 250 hitter against lefties to a 270 or a 290 hitter? You're not giving them the opportunity to prove it to you or to prove you wrong.
No doubt.
So hold on. Element?
So
I'm sorry. It drives me nuts.
So Charles Johnson sat down with Susan Slusser, and I know we touched on it a little bit yesterday, but this quote keeps popping back to me. Susan Slusser asked Charles Johnson, I know you've indicated that Farhad Zaidi's option for next year will be picked up. Neither he nor Gabe Kapler has had their deal extended recently. Where do you stand with that? Now, this was a very interesting answer. And it took me a while to, I read it over and over again. Charles Johnson said, or Greg Johnson, his son.
Who I have very little faith in right now.
Greg Johnson. Charles Johnson's the one who donates everything. He's in Florida, but Greg Johnson, his son. We could have opted out for next year, and we didn't do that, which means Farhad is going to be around. Both of them, Farhad and Kapler, through next season. And nothing's changed as far as our desire. Farhad and I have been having discussions on what that rate format looks like for both of us. And he's been so busy, I keep telling him, well, if you want to get together and talk about it to finalize, and he's just kind of like, I'm fine. That's a little strange to me. It's a little strange to me.
Totally agree.
We can wait potentially until after the season. I don't think there's been any urgency. He feels very comfortable that we're committed to getting it done, and I feel comfortable that he's committed to staying. Same holds true for Kapler? Exactly. So they're signed through the end of next season. I don't think the Giants are going to extend them. I think they should wait. Now, with the way Kapler's talking, with the players kind of like, I don't like my roles. And now you could say who's Alex Wood, who's Ross Stripling. But I think that clubhouse, even going back to Crawford when Kapler first got here, when he got pitch hit for, it was a defensive replacement. Longoria, veterans, a lot of those guys.
He made it very known.
Very known. And it's like, damn, you're pitch hitting for me? I don't know what I'm going to bat. This philosophy, this overall philosophy, I don't think it's not endearing to guys, to big league players. And I'm hearing through the grapevine, Aaron Judge was never going to sign here, play for Kapler or Farhad. He entertained it, but he was never really coming here. They don't really rock with this philosophy. They don't really rock with Kapler. So, with that said, something else is happening here. Buster Posey and his family is moving back to the Bay Area. They're moving back here full time. And Posey in the article at SFK is like, yeah, I want to be around the team. I want to see these homegrown players. I want to be invested in the stands. Are we sure? Behind the grapevine, or, kind of behind the scenes here, Kapler, Farhad maybe have one more year left on the deal. You think Buster Posey enjoys this style of baseball?
No, I think he wants to manage this team, and I want him to do it.
I think Buster Posey's being groomed to manage this team in the future.
Please,
he's moving. He's moving back to the Bay Area.
Please, Jesus.
Why is he moving back to the Bay Area?
I don't know. That's a great question.
To be closer to the team? To be closer to the organization?
To pay more in taxes and worry about his car getting bipped?
I think Buster Posey has a chance to be the future manager of the San Francisco Giants after Kapler. If you're a free agent out there, I
love it.
If you're a free agent out there, who you going to go play for? Buster Posey or Gabe Kapler? Who do you respect more?
Posey. Who are the players going to listen to more, too?
Posey or Kapler or Farhad?
And if you have a young catcher that you're trying to groom, who better to learn from day to day than Buster Posey in the dugout every day? That's a great, wow. I hadn't even considered that until you started going down that road, and the light went on almost like the hamster wheel inside my little dumb brain.
So, and I'm going to say where I got.
No, I love this.
My brain didn't go down this until I ran into Ben the Wildcat yesterday. My guy Bernie, he went to Reardon. I think he's like class of 01, 02. Big fan of the show.
Really?
But that's he worked with Big Dog City.
Wait, Ben Bass?
No. Not Ben Bass.
Okay.
Ben the Wildcat. He lived in Boston for like 10 years.
Ben Bass, if you're out there. Glen Park's finest. Sorry.
So Bernie, I ran into him right outside the building yesterday. I was walking around, taking a walk before the all-staff meeting at the Olympic Club podcast. And Ben's like, Bonte! He moved back here. He's been out here for 2 years. And he used to work with Big Dog City Enterprise, a lot of sports conversations. He goes, Buster Posey's moving back to the Bay. And he was walking down to the game. He's about to go to the game. He goes, I think they're grooming Posey. And we sat there and talked for 20 minutes. I said, you know what? I'll bring this up to Shaq.
Did you discuss the greatest pinch hitters of all time and list Austin Slater at the top?
We did not.
Yeah.
We did not do that.
And his 137 pinch hit at bats, while Lenny Harris has close to 1,000. This thing, do you know how many at bats JD Davis has right now? Just for this year.
What, over 300?
It's like 380, something like that. We are going off a sample size of 130-something at-bats for Austin Slater and crowning him one of the greatest pinch hitters of all time. Shh, put the laptop down. Keep going.